I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner, except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Rena's going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Rena. Then, who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling. Knowing that was someone else, not Rena. So tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. That thought was strangely comforting. Meh. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head, though the thoughts continued swirling around my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the steps. Keiichi! It's a call from the bookstore. Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Oishi from the Okinomiya bookshop. Oishi-san? Oh, it's Oishi-san! Sorry. Since your parents picked up, I said it was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. Oishi-san was in his own way rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed up to my room on the second floor. Sorry for calling so late. That phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you? Yeah. Okay. He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up. So how has it been, my better son? Did anything strange happen recently? I see. This was the real person. You really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills let me sludge act. Are you from around here, Oishi-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya. If he's from around here, he might know. Oishi-san. Do you know what this Onikakushi thing is about? I believe that's when somebody suddenly vanishes because they're being abducted by a demon. It's a special saying from around here. It has the same meaning as spirited away, like everyone else says. Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Hinamiza was... I'm not sure if I should tell you this, my better-san. Don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything. No. That's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as the village where demons reside. Demons? By demons, you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell? More like human-eating monsters. They'd go down to villagers, snatching people up and gobbling them down. That kind of tale. Demons snatching up people is what this Onikakushi really means? They said that the curse and began demoned away happening together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there were people disappearing for those same 5 years. The curse of being demoned away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, my better son? That's what I want to know. I heard Rena and Mion talking. They said that if it was really Oyashiro-sama's curse, then both the curse and demoning away would happen. Oishi-san began hemming and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind? My better son, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment? Yeah? One of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right? Hypothetically. What if he isn't on the run, but was demoned away? Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Oishi-san. The incident 4 years ago was a particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They stalked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint of where he might be. Unless the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. Then what about the incident the next year? When the man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident. Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in the accident. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find the body, then it's considered a missing person by law. At the time of the incident, with the river slowing below the cliff being muddy rapids. Oops, what? I didn't. Ugh. The police divers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end, they weren't able to find her body. But that's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it different from her being demoned away? We're not gonna say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass, by law, she's treated as still alive. I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. His wife is missing. At least that part was reality. What about the third year? The Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide. My bad-san, that's actually the exact same scenario. The wife has reportedly thrown herself into the bottomless marsh deep in the forest around Hinamizawa. Meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remnants, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere. I'm not sure if we could call these cases as being demoned away. It's just as you said, every year one person goes missing. The incident this year, the woman with Tomoteru-san, has gone missing. Then what about the incident with the housewife beaten to death? Who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right? Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident. But, well, you see. After he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It's still under investigation. As to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime. But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now. Because while under investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death. It's not known whether it was an accident or suicide. Meaning for the last 5 years... Meaning for the last 5 years, there's always one person who dies and one who goes missing. That's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I've never realized they had that in common. I couldn't believe that this helped lead to the closing of those incidents. It was just something that they had in common. Could it be that those demoned away have something in common? Oishi-san mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it. So to summarize the events, the first year was a dam employee. Second year was the wife of a dam project supporter. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family's child, and the fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. It doesn't seem like there's anything that connects them. With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those two stand out. It does seem like there are a lot. Then that means the fourth year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if it were all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Tomodachi-san also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in the 4th year. Who were they? Apparently he was quite mature. 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi Hojo-san. Satoshi? I remember that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year? He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him? Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then, where I sat once belonged to the one who was demoned away. It was his seat! I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. This string of mysterious deaths. No, Oyashiro-sama's curse. I now knew how it connected to me. That chilling sensation. It was the feeling of Oyashiro-sama's caressing the back of my neck. Oyashiro-sama's curse. Huh? Could Oyashiro-sama's curse really exist? I had, in all honesty, I was beginning to believe it, and I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by man and not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No. The more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually, I'd reach the point where I'd learn something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser, or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. Maybe execution could only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena said she may be the next victim of the curse. You mean Rena Ryuga-san? She transferred in last year and she's your classmate, isn't she? These incidents really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. It felt like she was convinced. Almost as if, you could say, she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor. Like someone who looked like Rena but wasn't Rena. That might be unrelated. All the strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me. I see. Then I'll be doing a bit of investigation on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryugo-san, Maibara-san. Are you asking me to keep Rena under surveillance? That's not what I mean, Maibara-san. I just want you to watch out for your friends so she doesn't end up the next victim. At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way of words. Knock, knock! A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Keiichi, get the door, please! On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. Oh. What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for the tonight? Yeah. My apologies again for calling so late. If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Keiichi, hurry up! Daddy's got his hands full. What is Dad doing? I had stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with a tray. On the tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy spread out for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side. Everything you could ask for. This was quite a show of hospitality. What's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come now, don't play around, Keiichi. I'm coming in. Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. But for my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him? So, what were you talking about? I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father. But how could I explain to him that I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming it was. This late at night. Nothing much. Just a friend. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Rena-chan? She wasn't here? Come now, don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea, but looks like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back. How long were we talking? Rena-chan went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. You saw her come up to the second floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her that your room was the door down the hall up the stairs. Rena came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Oishi-san. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was the second floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs and about an hour passed. Then passed by my dad and returned home. Then, after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Rena? There's only a short hallway between my room and the stairs. Meaning, Rena had for about an hour in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All of the ominous things and all the nonsense I spoke to Oishi-san about began rushing through my head. Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled up from Dad from downstairs. Dad left a tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the doorway where Rena might have stood all that time. Just now, as I was talking to Oishi-san, with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away. The whole time? All that time, in this dimly lit doorway. What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled the room. Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue is packed under the nails. Not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yeah, I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood. Samatamatake-san's fingernails have been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails. But it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there were lots of bruises on Tomitake's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to the toxicology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria, right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oishi-kun, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon? We only found sand and paint from the rail guard on it. What about cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with. In the case, they wouldn't have gone out of the way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. That's true. Tomitake sounds pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side. Meaning, he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such a physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly, it's just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. The guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once. To surround or take down someone of his physique. I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit. You should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. Then there were quite a few perpetrators. So many drunken disorderly groups of more than 4 suspicious? A group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden a body in a less obvious location? Or did they somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end, too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Oishi-san, the chief is calling you. Thanks, see you around. Yeah, best wishes. Jiro Tomitake, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shichibuya City. Registered under the name Jiro Tomitake. Pen name. Travels via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival. Accompanied by the missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hiyamizuwa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer, specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba. Along the Sobu National Railway line? No individuals matching the name Jiro Tomitake in the residency records of any no individuals matching the name Jiro Tomitake in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contact the magazine regarding Jiro Tomitake. Mio Takano. Missing. Nurse at EDA Clinic. Became close to Tomitake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya X District XXX. Single. Witness accompanying Tomitake on the festival grounds. Currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect? An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to thoroughly investigate the relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi.